morning and welcome to another beginning drawing class. I was at the Goodwill on 6th Avenue yesterday and I saw this painting by Peggy Cook, and it was a print, obviously. Well, no, it's not obvious. You didn't see it, right? So for $2, I saw it and it just looked like a wonderful tool for doing a pen and ink and colored pencil drawing for everybody today. So we're going to start with the hair. I have just a light little drawing here just to give me something to go on. And so I'm going to begin with some black ink, as we always do, because you can see it. So the hair, now you've got some pictures of it, but it's just pretty cool, very colorful. And then I'm going to come in here just for now and try to get an idea of where the hair is going to be, and because she's got beautiful long hair, and then I'm just going to put the eyes in here, and a little bit of lash, and then just so that we know kind of where we are in terms of the facial features. Now there is a little bit of, not much. It's a mermaid, right? So we'll be able to use all kinds of artistic license when dealing with something that is actual or not. We don't know. Okay, so that just kind of sets where, because there's all kinds of hair coming down here, and but the way that she does it, it's really quite nice. So then I'm going to try to add the arms in here. We're going to indicate the hand and the fingers, and then I'm going to go to the other side and then we have these nice shells, which are pretty cool. So there's a lot of interesting areas of creativity that she did when she created this. So when I saw it yesterday for $2, I thought it would make a really nice, and I'm going to bring the hair down here like she does. And down here, I want to make sure that I don't miss. Now there's other areas, like there's a seahorse and some fish down here. I just didn't think I would have enough time to do everything, because we have, for one thing, we have the scales on the lower part of her fins and things, and so that's going to take a little time. So once we get things outlined, basically, so that we know what we're actually dealing with as far as size, and then here she has these call them veins, call them whatever. But we're going to indicate that with the black ink, and then here as well. Now she has an armband we're going to put in there. Okay, now one of the things that's going to take a little time is the scales, and they're larger up on top. And one of the things that you want to remember is to stagger them. You know, it's like bricks. You know, you don't want all the seams together. So by staggering them, you get the effect of scales. Then that's the way actual scales would be. So the nice thing about the black ink for a lesson like this is it shows up. For one thing, you can actually see where things are, and then later when we color it in, you'll be able to tell that there are actual scales. And then here, I'm going to change it just a little bit, because and as we get down here, they do get smaller too, so that will, if you can see it from the drawing or the paint, actually it's a painting that she did. It's pretty cool. So when I saw it, I thought, hey, for $2, it was a print of a painting that she did that is in a plastic holder backed with a kind of a heavy cardboard. And so when I picked it up, it was like, wow, this is pretty nice for $2. And I immediately thought that this would make an interesting drawing with pen and ink and colored pencil. So here we are. Now, one of the things that we will do here very soon, I want to work on the hair a little bit more, because the way that she did the hair is really very creative in terms of especially the subject matter. Being a mermaid is not like your typical girl next door, right? Or is it? No. So anyway, so that will basically do for this part of it. All right, so then if you can see how she kind of does this in such a way that she can get various colors. And so we're going to indicate here some of those areas that we can do in a number of different colors. So it's actually almost like streaking today, where women have their hair streaked, and so got hair coming down here too, and okay, because one of the things that I want to do here very soon is, once I have enough going on, we can always add to it, but we need to erase. And I think I'll start here because I just worked on that area up there. And so again, as we've talked about before, when you're dealing with pen and ink and colored pencil, if you've got a nice heavier paper, this is an 80-pound press paper that you can erase on without messing it up too easily. You can still mess it up, but by holding it down in places, you can hopefully keep it flat. Yeah, see there, you have to really be careful though. Certain areas. So, let's see here. Okay. Right, so I think I'm going to there we go. All right, so now her hair is, let me check this. Now I have the tablet here I use for erasing, cleaning my eraser, but I also have it for checking the color that I'm about to use, right? So here she has a couple of different kinds of brown. So we're going to begin so we want to separate one brown from the other to give you that look that she has created here, which is really quite nice. So we're just taking our time. Now we've talked about patience before. It's like drawing all these scales. It makes a difference if you're not in a hurry. And in these days of the pandemic, we have lots of time in the sense that we're oftentimes just locked down. Places are closed. So, okay, so we're going to so this is a darker brown than the other one that I'm going to use. They should balance each other out very nicely. We'll see when we start. But, you know, artistic license we've talked about many times. So just because I'm doing it this way, you have the freedom to do it any way you want. So let's see here. Now I already had a beveled edge on this, and one of the things about a beveled edge, as we've talked about, is you get a nice even surface. But also, in addition to that, we have an edge that for those areas that you come close to the line that you want to be able to get a nice clean line, you have that. So once we've got the hair in here, it'll be easier to see the approach that she took in terms of creating an effect. She's created quite an interesting effect here, I think. And that's why I bought this yesterday. And once I'm done with with using it as a tool, then I can frame it or do whatever. One of the reasons that I picked up on it as a potential project is one of Judy's granddaughters drew. They're both 9 right now, and she drew a mermaid, a little drawing of a mermaid that is hanging on our refrigerator. And having seen that many times, when I saw this painting, this print of a painting, I thought, wow, that could be something special. So this is a nice dark brown, and so as you can see, it takes time. So just be patient. You know, a good work of art takes whatever it takes. And you want to be happy with the end result if you're going to spend time doing something. So, and everybody is different in terms of what's important to them, how much time they want to spend on something. So, anyway, I'm going to switch over now to the other color brown, and let's see how this goes. Now, I don't know how this is going to pick up in terms of the video, but there's not a real strong contrast, but I kind of like the way that they go together. So I'm going to continue with this combination. So now I think that noise that you hear is probably a heater coming on. I don't know for sure, but hopefully you can still hear me. I don't know. So going over to the other side, yeah, that's a nice combination, I think. I like it. You might not like it, so the idea though is in terms of what the effect that she created, I think, is leaves it nicely open to anyone who's doing it to come up with your own combination. So it's one of the other reasons that I thought that this would be a good tool, because it's open to interpretation in a very nice way, I think. So that's one of the things that when you're using, as you're just practicing, let's see, I want to add another couple of lines here so that we can let's see. And then I'm going to go back to this darker brown in this one area here. So you want to keep the two colors separated to a certain degree to create the effect that we want. So that will take care of that for the moment. Oh, I just realized we've got hair coming down here I forgot about. Yeah. And then the darker one. There's a little bit right here, and then we can divide this up very nicely without even having to draw another line. We'll just add a little brown over here of the lighter variety, and there we are. Now, didn't get, let's see what this is. Maybe a little bit. Just want to get a little indication of and then here we have these nice shells. And I'm just going to give it a little color. And so again, you can do whatever you want. And then we have a dark green that we're going to what I want to do is there's all kinds of, if you look at the painting, there's indications of darker and lighter scales, which in this case, when you're looking at it, it's like sparkling, right? Because of the sunlight, which is very cool. And so what I want to do to begin with is just create a basic green to begin with, and then we will go individually and create lighter and darker areas. But we just want to put some color a foundation, if you will. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. So, color down in the fin part of the mermaid's greenery, if you will. So I want that to be darker, and then there's these areas where I think if let's see if we can create an effect that will give the shimmering kind of effect that she has created. Now, it's not the same with colored pencil, and I think what we'll end up doing is making everything a little bit darker, but I want to get certain areas nice and dark. So and as I look at that, I've decided that I'm going to go a little darker all around. Just the lightness of the green just doesn't create the kind of effect, and what, depending on how much you can see the scales, you may determine for yourself, depending on what you decide to do, that you may want to go over those scales so that you can see them a little more clearly. Let me see what that would look like if we did that. Ah, you see that? Yes. So that is, and these are kind of things that you really don't necessarily know at the time, but you can see that you can go ahead and make this as dark as you want, and don't be as concerned about the shimmering light from inside the water. So I'm going to just get a lot of nice color on here, and then we can indicate in a few areas. You don't have to do all the scales, but that's another approach that you can take that will give you the effect that you would like. So you can see the difference between one color and another, and it's the same pencil, but depending on how dark you want it, how much time you want to spend on it, so as always, it's artistic license. It's your freedom to create the way you want to create. And if I don't get anything else across, it doesn't matter what level you're at, you still have the freedom to create whatever you want, the way you want, and with the level of skill that you have, that hopefully is developing as you spend time drawing, because that's what it takes. It's like anything. You can call it practice, but it doesn't have to be practice. It can just be the time that you spend doing something is, I'm going to sharpen this a little bit because we're whittling it down here. And I'm turning the page, which you can do to make it easier to get to whatever area that you're trying to get to. But yeah, the word practice doesn't sit well with some people. They don't want to practice. So don't look at it as practice. Just look at it as doing something that you enjoy doing. And in the process of doing it, you will improve, even if that isn't your motive, even if you're not trying to improve, you will improve. That's just part of the process. So I'm going to see if we can get a little bit more line here. Okay, so I want to do a few of these. I'm not going to do all of them. So that will give us a kind of an indication of like light and dark. It won't be shimmering, but it will pop out in certain places, which will allow there to be a difference. So anyway, don't want to run out of time here, but so you get the idea there. And then one other thing that I want to do, I just want to add a little color to her, and that will be just so that we She's not just just a little color, you know. And while I'm on the face, I'm thinking, well, the eyes have got a nice blue here. I wonder if we can just add a little blue. And then so you might want a different flesh color. This is not really a flesh color, but she's a mermaid, right? So I just wanted to add something. Now she has a very different color. It's hard to describe, but appropriate for the colors that she's used throughout. But I think this will just make it a little more complete. The only thing is I'm not going to have time to put in the water. But all the background is. Now she streaked it, which you may or may not want to do. I think if I was doing it, I wouldn't do it that way, but that's up to you. But yeah, I think that looks better with a little color in her body without making it too dark. And this particular color goes very nicely with her hair and with, you know, the fish part of her. Okay, let's see, I think I might just add a little in there. Okay, so I think that will do it for today. Well, I hope you got some good ideas from that. It can be done in so many different ways, but we did it with pen and ink and colored pencil. So thank you very much for joining me, and happy drawing.